Roman Reigns is one of the top mega superstars in WWE and has been the biggest box office attraction ever since he skyrocketed to the top as the biggest main eventer of all time. He has headlined many pay-per-views / premium live events in the last 10 years. He went from being the most hated hero to the most beloved villain. Ever since he became the most beloved villain, he managed to redeem himself and was accompanied by his manager, known as the Special Counsel, the Wise Man, Paul Heyman. Most of all, he has found his way to win the Universal Title, which he never lost. For a little context, his first Universal Title run lasted a couple of months. It ended when he had to relinquish the Universal Title due to his re-diagnosis with leukemia. Luckily, his diagnosis went into readmission. With his monumental moments, his second Universal Championship run has to be the most entertaining part of his wrestling career. He has held the Universal title for 1,316 days, with an addition of the WWE title run for 734 days. For the main topic of this video, we will look at the retrospective of Roman Reigns' Universal Championship run with every title defense. Before I talk about it, please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit the bell icon for more content on YouTube. The story begins when Roman Reigns made his shocking return at SummerSlam after several months of hiatus during the pandemic time. He would challenge for the Universal title that he never lost. In the following week, Roman Reigns showed up at Payback and won the Universal title when he defeated Braun Strowman and The Fiend Bray Wyatt in a triple threat match by pinning Braun in the middle of the broken ring. This was the time when Roman wrecked everyone and leave. At Clash of Champions, Roman has been dominating almost the entire time as he was forcing his cousin Jay to acknowledge him. Jey Uso became the first victim when his brother Jimmy threw a towel, thus ending by referee stoppage. On an episode of SmackDown, Braun Strowman lost via submission when he passed out to Roman Reigns' submission hold, the guillotine. At Hell in a Cell, Roman forced Jey Uso to say "I quit" while Jimmy was getting choked out from Roman's guillotine in order for Jey to save his brother inside the cage. At TLC, Roman Reigns choked Kevin Owens out on top of the ladder thanks to his right-hand man Jey Uso. Roman climbed up the ladder and grabbed the title to retain in a TLC match. On a Christmas episode of SmackDown, Kevin Owens was handcuffed to the side of the cage thanks to Jey Uso. Roman Reigns taunt his way out of the cage and defeated KO again, but inside the steel cage. At the Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns locked Kevin Owens in a guillotine. Kevin couldn't get up from a 10 count as Roman would once again defeat him in a last man standing match. At the Elimination Chamber, Daniel Bryan was forced to compete again after winning the entire chamber match to determine the #1 contender for the Universal title. Daniel was legitimately exhausted as Roman took the advantage to put him in a guillotine, thus forcing him to pass out and retain the title. At Fastlane, Roman Reigns defeated Daniel Bryan again, but this time via pinfall due to Edge's interference when he took out both men with a chair. On a Sunday night at WrestleMania 37, Roman Reigns defeated Daniel Bryan and Edge in a triple threat match in a main event where he smashed them with a chair, stacked them, and pinned them to retain the Universal title. On an episode of SmackDown, Daniel Bryan wrestled his last WWE match and would lose to Roman Reigns by a guillotine once again. At WrestleMania Backlash, Roman Reigns defeated Cesaro via guillotine lock to retain the Universal title in an epic match between the two. On an episode of SmackDown before Hell in a Cell, Roman Reigns forced Rey Mysterio to tap out in a modified Anaconda chokehold while standing inside the cage. At Money in the Bank, Roman Reigns spears Edge and pins him to retain the Universal title thanks to Seth Rollins' interference. At SummerSlam, Roman Reigns managed to defeat the greatest of all time, John Cena, when he hit him with a spear, pinned him, and retained the Universal title in the main event. On an episode of SmackDown, Roman Reigns defeated Finn Balor via submission when Roman locked him in the guillotine, thus forcing him to pass out. At Extreme Rules, Finn Balor once again, but this time as a demon when he was about to hit the coup de grace, but the top rope randomly went off as he fell to the mat. He got up and Roman speared him and pinned him to retain. At Crown Jewel, the Usos interfered and super kicked Brock Lesnar. Roman hit him with the belt and pinned him to steal the victory in the main event. On an episode of SmackDown, Sami Zayn was laid waste and speared by Roman Reigns, followed by the guillotine, which forced Sami to tap out by submission. I want to point out something that was supposed to happen during Roman Reigns' title run. Shout out to Superkick Studios for making good points on this. Roman Reigns was supposed to defend the Universal title against Brock Lesnar at WWE's one and only premium live event show, no pun intended, Day 1, but was tested positive for COVID as this would become the biggest domino effect in WWE. I mean, when you think about it, there are so many what ifs in this wrestling world. If it wasn't for the cancellation of Day 1 match between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, Roman's title reign probably wouldn't last longer for another 2 years. Brock would not be insert himself into the WWE title match at Day 1. Speaking of WWE title match, Seth freaking Rollins probably would have won the WWE title and head into WrestleMania. In addition, Seth wouldn't have faced off against the returning of Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania or any other future classical matches that these two would encounter. Speaking of Cody, he would have finished his story earlier as he wanted to win the WWE Championship for his father Dusty, in which we wouldn't have two main events that happened at WrestleMania 40 this year. Speaking of main event, Sami Zayn would not have joined the Bloodline or even main evented at the Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania 39 on a Saturday. And of course, Drew McIntyre could have most likely won the WWE title at Clash at the Castle in 2022, where he could have witnessed his huge title win in front of the live audience. At least Drew got his moment when he won the World Heavyweight title in front of the crowd at WrestleMania 40, but didn't last long though. And speaking of World Heavyweight title, that title wouldn't exist at all if it wasn't for the unification of the WWE title and Universal title, as well as the tag team titles would not have been unified. Let me know in the comments section if you have any more assumption on what you think would happen if it wasn't for the cancellation of Day 1 match between Roman and Brock. Back to the story. At the Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns failed to beat his former Shield friend Seth freaking Rollins when he got himself disqualified for not releasing the guillotine choke. Afterward, Roman got his revenge for what Seth did poetically, courtesy of the Shield's implosion. At the Elimination Chamber, Goldberg was about to hit the jackhammer, but Roman countered with a guillotine lock. This would force Goldberg to pass out, thus retaining the Universal title. On a Sunday night at WrestleMania 38, Roman Reigns beat Brock Lesnar again when he speared him out of nowhere and pinned him to become the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. At this point on, Roman did sign a new contract deal in the beginning of 2022. He would start to become a part-time champion and would only defend the titles less often, as well as making limited time schedules minus house shows due to health reasons and family priorities. Wrestling fans may not like the way WWE is having part-time champions, but there's no argue that Roman is still the biggest draw in WWE to this day. Hence why WWE probably didn't want him to drop the titles until they can find the right wrestler to make it more believable to defeat the Tribal Chief for the world title, as well as the right person who's going to be the massive draw on a full-time basis. Nonetheless, Roman Reigns was able to experience with full-time basis in his first 10 years in WWE and would wrestle less often afterwards. On an episode of SmackDown, Roman Reigns speared Riddle through midair and pinned him to retain the Undisputed titles. At SummerSlam, Roman Reigns defeated Brock Lesnar once again in a last man standing match where he and the Usos managed to keep the Beast Incarnate down with everything on top of him, which led to a 10 count for the Tribal Chief's victory to culminate the final chapter between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. At Clash at the Castle, Roman Reigns broke Drew McIntyre's dream when the Bloodline's newest member, Solo Sikoa, who made his debut by interfering in a match which gave Roman an advantage to hit Drew with a spear and pin him for the victory. At Crown Jewel, Logan Paul managed to take down the Bloodline with help from his brother, Jake Paul, as he head back to the ring, but then Roman recovers and hits Logan with a Superman punch, followed by a spear and pin him for the victory over a famous YouTuber. At the Royal Rumble, Kevin Owens once again determined to try to defeat the Tribal Chief, but failed when Roman Reigns hit Kevin with a third spear and covered for the pinfall victory to retain the Undisputed titles. At Elimination Chamber, Roman hit Sami with a spear and pinned him to retain the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. At WrestleMania 39, Cody Rhodes attempted to finish the story by winning the undisputed WWE Universal Title, but failed to do it when Solo Sikoa Samoan spiked him, which gave Roman an advantage of no selling from Cody's two crossroads. Roman hits Cody with a spear and covers for the pinfall victory to retain the undisputed titles, leaving Cody Rhodes' story unfinished. At SummerSlam, Jey Uso once again became a single competitor by attempting to dethrone the Tribal Chief in a tribal comeback match, but failed when he was betrayed by his twin brother Jimmy. Roman speared Jey through the table and pinned him to retain the titles. At Crown Jewel, LA Knight, no. He failed to win when Roman Reigns speared him through the barricade before bringing him back into the ring for another spear to get the win. At the Royal Rumble, Roman was involved in a fatal 4-way match against AJ Styles, Randy Orton, and LA Knight. The outcome of this match was when Roman managed to hit one of his signature/finishing moves on each opponent. A spear to Randy, a Superman punch to LA Knight, and a spear to AJ Styles and pin him to retain the Undisputed Championship. At WrestleMania 40, everybody was down and out during the civil war between the Bloodline and Roman Reigns' victims as the main event rolled on. Both Roman and Cody Rhodes got back to their feet. Roman was about to hit Cody with a chair, but instead he took Seth freaking Rollins out as a way for Cody to use Seth as a shield, which ultimately caused Roman Reigns' downfall. Roman was about to go for a spear, but gets countered when Cody hits him with 3 crossroads. Cody pinned him to finally dethrone the Tribal Chief, thus finishing the story. As for the main story for Roman Reigns, this was the end of his championship run as the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes became the right man to dethrone the Tribal Chief. What a title run for the man who thrives to be on the greatness on different level mode. Roman Reigns has held the Universal title for 1,316 days with 31 successful title defense. I thought I wanted to point out some milestone facts about Roman Reigns' championship run. He became the first wrestler to defend the World Championship in 4 straight WrestleManias under one reign from 2021 to 2024. His 1000th day as the Universal Champion took place at Night of Champions on May 27, 2023. He became the 4th longest reigning World Champion behind Hulk Hogan, 1,474 days, Bob Backlund, 2,135 days, and Bruno Sammartino, first reign, 2,803 days. This is just an assumption, but perhaps this would be the last time we would ever see a wrestler holding the title for more than 1,000 days, as it would be next to impossible of having a wrestler holding the title for over 3 years. And mainly, this is most likely the last time we will ever see Roman Reigns holding a championship after breaking several milestones of his championship run. Predictably, Roman Reigns is now a part-time wrestler who's more likely going to be main eventing WrestleMania at least few more times in the future and could be heading off to Hollywood next to The Rock and John Cena. Get used to it. The Tribal Chief gimmick has worked so much better for Roman Reigns than any of those years when Roman used to be the guy that people didn't want to see him as a top babyface. Back then, he was the juggernaut, the muscle of the Shield, the powerhouse, the guy, and the big dog. And now he's been known as the head of the table, the Tribal Chief, the needle mover, and the greatest world champion in WWE. And with that, let's all acknowledge and thank the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns for all the memories of championship run in professional wrestling. Leave your thoughts and acknowledgements in the comments section below about what you think of Roman Reigns' historic championship run and his title defense. Other than that, thanks for watching. Please be sure to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to this channel, and tap the notification bell so you don't want to miss the latest content on YouTube.